Good evening, everyone. Thank you once again for joining our bi-weekly Google Meet session. Okay, so it has been a long while, okay, and I really do miss this time where we can collectively tune in and listen. Okay, there's always a power of collective meetings, right, and really make us feel belong and together as part of a team. All right, there's a good reason actually why we have been a bit busy, okay, because at our end, we have been busy doing health events. All right, and just to give you a brief recap, last month, Malaysia has finally done our health event for 2026. So the event exceeded our expectations. Okay, it was beyond what we have first projected. And of course, a big thanks and shout out to the Singapore team for coming all the way to support and collaborate alongside us to make this a great success. All right, at 9 a.m., can you believe it? As early as 9 a.m. as the office opened, people were coming in, okay, getting their health check, and by 10 a.m., the consultation was full. All right, there's literally no place to sit. People have to line up all the way back, and it was just busy for all of us until like 6:30 when you're going to close, right? So this just shows how much, people all around us are becoming more and more concerned about their well-being. All right, that despite of what statistics paint us to be, Malaysia being number one in diabetes, number one in in obesity rates among Southeast Asians, but there's clearly a lot of awareness, and people are getting more and more serious about their health outcomes. All right. So for all of you here today, okay, this is the perfect time for you, okay, to recap some important foundations about Feel Great. All right. And I'm sure for all of you here today, you are not here because you have nothing to do. All right. You're not here just because you want to kill time. I'm sure all of you are busy and you chose to choose this time where you could have rested to attend a health talk. All right, so kudos to you, and that shows how committed and passionate you are to make sure that your metabolic health is in order. All right, and it shows your determination, your commitment, and your desire for change. Okay, so without further ado, let's go right into today's talk. Okay, I'm sure you all are seeing my slide just fine, right? Now, before we go into this, it's really important that we know the objective of what we're here for. Okay, we're going to revisit some really important fundamentals of Feel Great. Okay, just in case, it's always good to have a bit of a review. And secondly, why it is that if you have not, you should upgrade your routine. Not because the existing routine is not good, it is very good, all right, but our body adapts and it changes over time. And there are ways that can help us to reach to a much better optimization of our overall insulin and sugar management. All right. So with this, I hope that you will be able to understand fully the message today. Okay. So it's always good to revisit, how does insulin resistance happen? Okay. And for most of us, we would know that it happens in this manner. If we eat something, triggers our pancreas to release insulin, then it's going to be insulin resistance or diabetes. So this has always been how most people understood insulin resistance to be. However, this is no longer the correct framework, nor it is accurate for us to understand the entirety of how insulin resistance happened. Because what happened behind the scenes is a lot more complicated. Okay, it's true. Yes, our pancreas does release insulin. But many people are not aware that pancreas is constantly in a very intricate and intimate relationship with our gut. All right, it's always communicating, it's always giving feedback. Okay, whether you should increase or decrease the insulin that's being released at that given time. And not just only that, bone muscle also play a role. Okay, and not mistaken, sleep. So all these factors are the reason why we are not able to have good insulin management. Okay, and what we see and what standard understanding is oversimplifying actually what is really going on behind the scene. Now, we're going to talk about this shortly. So new perspective says that, okay, yes, there is still pancreas that, will release insulin, right? But at the very same time, okay, your gut would also be stimulated. Okay, and this is where the GLP-1 comes into the picture. So the release of insulin at this stage is what we call first phase of insulin release. But what happens between the gut and the pancreas is what we call the second insulin release, okay, which most people are not aware of. So the GLP-1 and how much your gut is able to produce that is going to influence your pancreas directly, whether it's going to release more or less at that given time. All right. So what happens in your gut accounts for 50 to 70% of post-meal insulin levels. Okay, that only comes to show how important fuel grade is in establishing our baseline for stable insulin and sugar levels. Okay, to put things into perspective, okay, I have gathered, I think it's better that we see this graphic-wise. Okay, then you're able to absorb what we learned a lot better, right? So it always happens in the first phase first. Okay, so when we eat something, immediately in the 0, okay, to 10 minutes is going to be the most rapid increase of insulin, which is normal, right? Then after that, it will decrease. And after that is what we call the second phase of insulin secretion, which is going to be a lot more gradual and long-lasting, which occurs 25 to 30 minutes post-glucose stimulation. So this is what happens biologically in our body. Now, so where does GLP-1 comes into the picture? So GLP-1 acts very specifically in what we call the second phase of insulin secretion. So after your first phase, naturally it will dip, right? So GLP acts very specifically here at the second phase. So the more GLP-1, it signals feedback to the pancreas to lower the insulin release post-meal. So if you have more baseline of GLP-1, okay, that is contributed with good amount of fuel grade, then it's able to subsequently reduce, okay, the insulin release during your second phase of insulin secretion. All right, it prevents high insulin and only release what is appropriate and what your body needs at that given time. Okay, so how does fuel grade come into the picture? Okay, and where then does it enter? So when you eat your balance or as life as, okay, this is where it really starts. Okay, a balance is already acting at the very first phase. So this is where it manages the insulin spike. Okay, when you eat that carbohydrate, that bread or rice, whatever. So once you have that first, it's able to put you at a very good baseline. Now, if you take enough Unimate, okay, you are able to then ramp up and amplify the amount of GLP-1 that's already in your body. So collectively, when you are having that good amount of GLP-1 in your body, it sets you up for much better start when it comes to your second phase. So together with balance and balanced life as with Unimate is able to stimulate an appropriate insulin response. And you are already at a much better baseline compared to those who are not fuel grade at all. All right, so it's very comprehensive. And I can say as of now, the fuel grade is what is able to give us this kind of result, right? Just so you know, medicines generally don't target the food that we eat. It doesn't manage insulin or sugar spike during our meal time. Okay, it does overall in how our body regulates it, but it doesn't target this. All right. So if you already have a good fuel grade practice routine that is going on every day, you're already setting yourself up for success. All right. So this is a very important foundation that I think that everybody should be on. All right. If you have not tried any of our products, this should be the first thing you go for because it's the most important foundation. All right. Insulin and sugar levels is going to determine how your body is going to behave. It's going to affect your signaling in your body, your hormones, and many other factors. Okay, so for those who are already on fuel grade, you should continue to be on this because it's going to determine how your body is going to control insulin signaling. So, okay, we went into this in detail to give us a great recap of how important this fuel grade is to us. So next, we want to go into a very important and easily misunderstood part, which is what we call muscle, right? So how does this come into the picture? So what is really happening in our body is not as simple as we once believed. So whatever that our body were to digest is going to release what we call sugar, okay, or glucose molecule. So it doesn't just float there in your blood, okay, it's going to go to three major target organs. So number one, okay, it will 5 to 10% of your sugar is going to go into your fat. 10 to 20% of your sugar is going to go to your liver. And the final chunk of it is going to go into your muscle. So this is happening concurrently in any given moment when there is food in your blood. Okay, sugar lah, in short. So muscle is 70 to 80%. Okay, and is the most important glucose site. Now, did you know that the muscles can be insulin resistant? Okay, it didn't quite occur to me because I think that most people think that insulin resistance is a whole body thing. It's something that appears in your bloodstream, right? But it never really once occurred to me that specific organ sites can actually be insulin resistant. All right, and what made me even more surprised, the more I dig into it, is this, okay? What happens first is your muscle becomes insulin resistant, okay? It's your specific organ, target site that will be down to the signal of insulin. So this actually happened first, and it could be driven by a number of factors such as genetic, okay, inactivity, you don't exercise as much or you don't walk, or excess fat. Then what happens is it worsens the pancreas growth. Because most of your, if your muscles is weak, then you're going to lose 80% of capacity in your body to absorb sugar. So it's going to put in a lot of workload for your pancreas to release insulin to lower down the blood sugar in your blood. So this results in your pancreas overcompensating and produce even more insulin. And because of this, diabetes is made. After 10 to 15 years of muscle insulin resistance coupled with pancreas chronic overwork, and that is how real symptoms of diabetes were to occur. So honestly, when I was doing this, I felt like, wow, okay, I was also now only I realized the importance of muscle, because we never really once think of the chronological order of this. And we are so fixated with number two. And I can admit, okay, even with mainstream medicine, a lot of people would think it's always the pancreas fault. But very little would they know actually major contribution could be due to your muscle is already insulin resistant. Okay, so this is why we must. It's not like you want or you do not want. You're not given a choice actually. You have to make sure that your muscle is constantly in a good condition, because that is going to determine how it's going to affect your pancreas, and then later on, whatever symptom is going to happen later, right? And skeletal muscle is also considered the primary driver of whole body insulin resistance. And insulin resistance happens part by part. Okay, it's going to be your muscle first, then followed by your liver, then fat, then your whole body is going to be insulin resistance. So muscle is the most important factor that you must look into, okay, before seeing the whole picture. Okay, so putting into what we learned, okay, how does feel great then come into the picture? So what we need to do, very important, is that we must stabilize the insulin signaling in the body. Okay, that's very important. Because if your muscle is, because the insulin signal is going to happen in our body anyway, right? So if you have constantly bathed in high amounts of insulin, your muscle eventually is not going to be sensitive to the effects of insulin already. So we must stabilize the insulin signaling first, okay? And usually what most gold standard scientific suggestion would be weight loss, okay? 10% weight loss, manage your fat percentage and carbs intake, okay? Which is in line with what we have always been talking about all these years, right? So those gold standard points don't change. Now, the first victim is going to be the muscle, okay? Because it's one of the most, okay, abundant tissue in our body. Then, okay, we must ensure that once the insulin signaling in our body is well regulated, then our muscle will not be insulin resistant. Okay, because it's a lot harder to target an insulin resistant muscle compared to one that's not. Okay, you can have a very good muscle, but if it's not able to respond to insulin, right, it can't uptake your sugar. So your muscle cannot grow also, because your muscle needs some sugar to grow. Okay, so once that is settled, then you can go into the second step, all right, which is what we call strengthening the muscle. Okay, when your muscle is able to respond to the action of insulin, it can uptake sugar, and because of that, it can grow. Then you increase your sugar uptake capacity. You can strengthen your muscle. You overall also improve the other insulin sensitivity that's happened in your muscle. And when you solve that problem, your whole body will also start to be more insulin sensitive. Okay, your muscle is going to influence your liver, and then it's going to influence your fat. So it's very important that I need to establish this. Okay, because a lot of people get confused. They think that, okay, I can just take Feel Great and I don't take StrongHold. If you don't do that, honestly, you're setting up yourself for maybe 50%, okay? Because as we have learned, muscle is very important. So as you establish a very good, stable foundation of solid insulin management, then you can add on. It's going to be even better. And for those who are only on StrongHold and don't be on Feel Great, also cannot. Because you need to manage the insulin signaling while it's all haywire, then your muscle also cannot respond. Then it's going to atrophy anyway because it cannot respond to the proper insulin signaling. But you can start them together. All right, it's fine if you want to be on this Feel Great and this StrongHold together. It's okay. But some people, they have reservations and they want to just start one first, then be on another one. It's fine also. Okay, but ideally you should be on both of these together. All right. I hope I answered this question. So what can cause problems? Okay, it's going to be a problem when our muscles start to shrink. Okay, when our muscles start to become smaller in size, then potentially it's going to lead a cascade of problems. So this is a table that shows how our body would eventually, unfortunately, degrade with time. Okay, so 25 years is the peak of our muscle mass, then it declines with 30, unfortunately, okay. Then after that, 40 to 70. Once you cross the 50 mark, really, it's a downhill from there. Okay, then it's just going to go all the way down. And I guess 70 is really just, okay, all the way down some more. Okay, 15% loss per decade. So it's just going to be a downward hill. So in order for us to target this, the earlier you start, the better it is. Okay, you have a much better starting point. Then your decline curve is not going to be so steep. All right, and you have a much longer, okay, longevity when it comes to your overall health as well and your muscle sustenance over time. Okay, so the saying is clear that muscle is more than just looking good. Okay, which what I've talked about just now is really not just only for bodybuilders, which is, such a myth. Okay, what we learned is revolutionary, that muscle insulin resistance is a major cause of diabetes, occurs before the onset of diabetic symptoms. All right, so when you're diabetic, when you find out, it could be a little bit late, but it's not too late. Okay, at least you can still do something, to target that, right? And you cannot have good sugar and insulin management without caring about your muscle. Okay, you cannot, seriously cannot. Okay, you will only self-sabotage, and it is just only a matter of time. And you cannot neglect this part of your body. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to show you. This graph this picture is enough to show you why, right? Okay, one, you have so healthy muscle. And once you have a lot of healthy muscle, your fat don't have so much space. And this is for one muscle that's already degenerated. And once this happens, it's really just insulin resistance all the way, really. Okay, so it's going to be very hard for you to reverse this. Once you are this, it's all the way down. So we want to maintain healthy muscle as long as possible. And the younger you are, the better you're going to be. Right? So please don't wait until that old age, all right? Okay, please start as soon as possible. Okay, and muscle health is also one of the strongest anti-aging strategy, and it is the currency of longevity. Okay, this is really the truth. Okay, of course there are many supplements that are also beneficial when it comes to anti-aging. Okay, it's a whole new topic altogether. Collagen, of course, and collagen is protein also actually. So you cannot run from protein one. And if a person has very bad muscle mass, right, this person really like this, his prognosis towards his health span in later decades is going to be worse. Okay, so it's a very strong predictor of aging. And most importantly, muscle health also grants you the independence, okay, the mobility you need to enjoy your life. Right? And muscle, as you know, it connects your joints, your bone together. So if your muscle is compromised, very likely your bone is going to be misaligned. Okay, especially your joint, a lot of pressure there. It's going to be misaligned. You're going to have a lot of joint pain. Arthritis is going to happen. So you need to make sure that you have good muscle to ensure that you have, really good mobility. Right? So in order for us to enjoy life, we need good muscle health. Okay, so why is StrongHold so important? Okay, because it gives the signal that your muscle needs. Okay, your muscle needs signals for what? For three things. Okay, it tells your body when to grow. Give it a signal. It also tells your body when to recover. And most importantly, it tells your body when to stop breaking down. Okay, there's no point. Okay, if you can tell it to grow and tell it to recover, but you don't tell it when to stop, then everything that you think inside is just going to come up from your body, right? It's going to be wasted. So a very good and optimal signaling would do these three things for us. So this is an illustration to show you the differentiation between protein and signal. Okay, so now your muscle can have protein. All right, protein is a fuel source, right, for your muscle. It's like food for your muscle. You can have a lot of that, but if you have no signal, there's minimal growth. Okay, I got protein in my muscle, but I don't know what to do with it. Okay, so it won't be able to, it will still grow, but not going to be as fast or as optimum as you want it to be. Okay, and if a person don't have enough protein, okay, if you are playing with, very little protein in your muscle, even though you have signal, you won't be able to grow much also because your signal needs food. Muscle needs food to grow, right? So if that's not happening, then obviously we have very minimal growth as well. So the most ideal situation is to have good amounts of protein, good signaling, and that is going to give you maximum muscle growth. All right, so it's important that the food you eat has to be high in protein. So this is the reason why for those people who can't manage or to hit their protein goals in a day, protein shakes are very helpful, like the LC vanilla, or it's going to be helpful for those who have a hard time taking enough protein. Okay, but if you can take it from food, then a good signal would really bring your muscle health to a very good place, right? So the strongest muscle building signal, all right, and these are the ingredients, the core ingredients that makes this such a superb and unique product. Okay, we have whey protein isolate, leucine, calcium HMB, creatine. Okay, these are the four things that we want to pay attention. So why out of all the ingredients we use these for, right? For good reason. So whey protein isolate, the purpose of whey protein isolate in this formula specifically is to activate the muscle, okay? Is to on the engine, to prepare the muscle for muscle building, right? So it's not a fuel source, okay? So there are people who come and ask, okay, why StrongHold the whey protein isolate is not 20 gram? Okay, outside is like 20 gram, 21 per gram, even 25 gram of whey protein. Okay, why are you only giving so minimal? The reason is because we do not want StrongHold to be a food source. Okay, because if StrongHold, if you have too much of this whey protein in this specific product, it's going to have a very different effect really. It's going to be another protein food. Then there's no signaling effect, you see. So in order for us to make this very targeted and focused to just give you the best signaling, we have given it a very precise amount. And this is scientifically proven, okay, that this is the amount, the optimal amount you need to activate the engine of your muscle to start building. Okay, so that's why we have this specific amount. Okay, so what does whey protein isolate does is that it increases the amino acid that comes into your muscle. Okay, increase the influx of amino acid, and it can increase muscle protein synthesis up to 47%. Right? So this is a very important mechanism that has to occur first as we increase muscle protein synthesis in our body. Next, all right, we look into leucine and calcium HMB. So leucine, the purpose is the strongest amino acid that can lead to the strongest signaling of mTOR, okay, which is the strongest signal when it comes to building muscle. If anything else, we want to trigger this very specific hormone, which is called mTOR. So leucine is the best, okay, and it's the strongest that can lead to mTOR levels going really high. All right, so this is what we want to achieve. And to balance the effect of leucine, we have calcium H and B. So calcium H and B is very important to balance the effect of leucine, because if you have too much leucine and you don't have enough H and B, the balance and the signaling may be a bit imbalanced, okay? So that the muscle will continue to be sensitive to the effect of to leucine. And it also helps to prevent muscle loss as well. Okay, so calcium H and B is this complementary component that works together with leucine to make sure that that balance and that signaling would be optimum for us. Okay, it prevents muscle loss. So how it works is like this, okay? Leucine will activate mTOR, okay, which is the stronger and is the muscle signal for muscle growth. All right, it leads to high protein synthesis, and calcium H and B prevents the amino acid from leaching out from the muscle, so to prevent muscle loss. Okay, so last but not least, every action that we do use energy, Okay, most people think that energy is only required for those who are, like I said, those who are very active or run a lot or work out. But your daily movement, by the way, you go up the stairs, you need to carry things, okay, open the car door. All these things requires energy. All right, every movement requires your muscle to contract. Stand up also, you walk also need. All right, so muscles are highly active organs. Okay, it requires a lot of available energy to function. So the more battery that you have, the more available energy you have around your muscle cells, it enables your muscle to respond better. Okay, you have much better movement, you're more agile, you realize that you can walk faster. And you can feel the difference when when you have a good amount of this battery in you, and especially as you hit a certain age now. Okay, you walk also, you can feel it. You stand up, you just take something, you open the car door, so you can feel the difference. And the worst is this, okay? You can have the muscle, okay? When you do your scanning, right? You can see your muscle mass. But if you have no power, right? It's like you want to carry that chair or that table, so you feel it's so hard to lift. So these are things that is really going to impact our day-to-day life. So that's why I say it's really not for the bodybuilder one. And this is why people, when it comes to creatine, right, they should really have the correct understanding that every age would benefit, especially as you age. Because you're going to feel it the moment you hit a certain age one, really. Okay? So this is how the whole theory about, not theory, the whole science of how creatine comes into the picture, right? So they have a lot of available energy, okay? And our muscle needs a lot of ATP. It's basically an energy source for your muscle, all right? Whenever it contracts, you need ATP. So creatine is like that fast charging process that speeds up the overall influx of energy that you're going to have in your muscle. So when you have creatine, okay, you influx a lot of energy into your muscle. It's able to contract energy production, and this is where you really feel the difference. Okay, and for those who don't have creatine, energy regeneration is 2 to 3 times slow. Yeah. So for those who don't have enough energy, really, it's so you'll feel it, especially when you do workouts. Your workouts, your rep, for those who do resistance training, okay, you will really feel the difference if you don't have enough creatine. Okay, so that's really a good reason why. And now creatine is not just going to be marketed as sports supplement. Okay, more and more of it is really coming into mainstream, especially when it comes to overall protein formulas. Okay, creatine is a very important component that I think that everybody should have, right? Okay, so StrongHold activates the muscle building signal that your body needs. Very important. Okay, and every single ingredient has been very carefully planned and put together to give us the most optimal results for our muscle health. Okay, and it suits everyone at any age. Okay, of course, teenager, please, at least 17 years old. Okay, then you can take this. Okay, without the signal, your muscle cannot grow. Okay, it will only break down. So the proper signal is very important to ensure that your muscle constantly stays supple and healthy. All right, and many people are unaware that the insufficient signal is the reason, okay, why their health is declining. Okay, it's not because they don't have enough food. Some people, they don't have food problem, but the signal has a problem. Some people signal more Okay, most people, it's a signal problem. Okay, very few got signal but no food. It's a bit more rare. Okay, so with all of these being said and done, I know that many of you actually do your own feel great regime on your own. Okay, because that's how most people start off. Someone recommend to you and you eat it, and it's self-monitoring, right? Most of the time. Okay, so of course, for highly motivated individuals, of course, that's good. They can track themselves, but for a vast majority, not everybody are like that. Okay, so this is why joining a community is very beneficial. In fact, it's advantageous, okay, to anybody who is starting off any kind of wellness program. You can start alone, definitely. Okay, doesn't mean that you start alone you cannot see result. You can, but joining a group changes everything. So what do I mean by that? Okay, I'm not trying to be sentimental here, right? There is good reason why. According to studies, it's scientifically proven, okay, that programs that combine expert coaching, peer accountability, and a structured nutrition plan increase long-term success rate by 50 to 60%, that you're increasing your chance of success or reaching your goal or whatever target that you have 2 times, okay, more than what you're going to start on your own. All right, and it's been proven time and time again. If you have a good group that's going to stick you through, that's going to journey with you, you're going to have much more chance of experience greater benefit in your program. All right. Okay, because it is easy to give up, lose track. Okay, nobody is saying you feel like to snack already, right? And nobody asks you what. Okay, you can just hide somewhere and indulge in a corner that nobody will see. But in the end, when the thing don't work, you get frustrated or the product don't work. So that's why it's really important, and the benefit definitely, the pro definitely outweigh the con. All right. And joining a group encourages you to stay on track to achieve what you have in mind to achieve. Okay, so it's really important that you join a community. All right, and for those who are already on it on your own, great. And to join the community is very easy. Okay, you don't have to do anything. So what is in it for me? Okay, so right now, a lot of our groups, okay, they are doing this thing called the 90 days program / protocol. Okay, different countries, they have their own team leads to do this. And we find that this to be very successful. Okay, not just only successful, but it's the morale. Okay, and it's also the overall monitoring is a lot more comprehensive as well. So what is in it for you? If you join the team, okay, of course, this is most important. You want to know if there's any hidden fee, right? So to join this 90-day protocol, there is really no joining fee at all. Okay, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to let us know that you want to join. That's all, okay? And the other benefits would be you will be coached by seasoned and experienced coaches that they themselves are also on this, and they have also keep up to a very disciplined and disciplined way of eating, and they are able to give you very good advice. Okay, and this is mentoring that you have to pay, don't know how much, okay, to get like a personal coaching, right? We all know that, right? Gyms, you have to get someone to train you, how much you have to pay for all that, right? So all this, we don't, there's no cost to this. All right, and this is also very important. Of course, you feel great. You don't have, it's not a diet. If you get program really is not a diet. But then if you want to get more out of your protocol, okay, if you have structured meal plans, it's really able to give you your results a lot faster. And how do you eat overall in the day is going to make a big difference. Okay, how you feel, So you just need, they will give you advice, okay, how to eat and the proper way to, structure your meal plans. And that's going to bring your goal a lot faster as well, achieve your goal. And peer accountability, and later on you will see the precise tracking is really very precise. Okay, they will ask you a lot, okay, do all this monitoring week by week so that you are able to see exactly what is going on. Because in every program, there's no straight line one. Up and down, is very normal. Okay, and of course there are free nutrition courses as well. A lot of these coaches, they also do their own, so you can, they will let you know when is their own personal training. And success rate, this is the most important thing, okay, which we'll go into it. So what's the point of joining if there's no success rate, right? Okay, so we were going to go into the tracking and to let you see for yourself, okay, why is it you have to join this 90-day protocol? All right. So how to join? It's very easy actually. Inform the person who referred you to this talk today, right? If you can, let them know, they will know what to do. Okay, if you come here, so happen you see our post on Instagram or whatever, and you're like, I don't have anyone, can you lead me to the right person? Yes, you can. You just write us an email, okay, and we will direct you to the team lead that's in charge for that specific region. Okay, we'll direct you to the right people, and they will then tell you what to do. Okay, that's all. So if you really are interested, I highly encourage you to be on it, because I know not everybody's on 90-day, right? Okay, so it's a good opportunity for you to join in, since, okay, the next intake is happening very soon on 16 June. Okay, so it's a very good opportunity just to join in. It's just a group, right? That's all. All right, and that's going to bring you through, and you're going to witness a lot more significant results in your own personal wellness journey. All right, so how does it? Okay, this is an example of tracking. Okay, how it's done. All right, it's a personal week by week tracking. You can see every week, what happened. So if you go up, you go down, we can identify what happened. That is very important one. Okay, what's the point? Because it's very normal actually for your weight to sometimes even go up one. Then we can troubleshoot to see what is the problem. So you need very precise tracking and a good coach. Okay, it really will help you a lot in your attempt. So through this, we can see week 1 to week 4, we already, every week we use 1 kg body fat, okay, muscle mass. It's fine to reduce a bit, but then this is the importance of a coach, right? They will tell you need to add more protein, you may have to do some changes, do this and that, and you can fine tune some of these things so that you, even if you go down, you will go back up again. That's very important. All right. And then this is Sylvia. This is another, good result. And you can't just look at kg, right? You have to look at your muscle and all that. So even though kg may not be that much, but her muscle mass have increased 3.9. Right, so then you put things into perspective to show you exactly what is happening, okay, and these are the positive results that you do want to see week by week as you progress. All right, Kitty, okay, this is the out of it. I think end of the day they will give you a breakdown as well. All right, the coaches are going to give you a specific, personalized analysis of your overall progress. So you see, 7 days already rewriting the story, go down, and give you very specific summaries and more, okay, which you cannot find anywhere. Then they will guide you, they will motivate you, how your metabolism will perform for the next 83 days, a countdown, right? This is also awesome, right? That lost, 2.1 kg, incredible, okay? After C-section some more. So fast, lose 2.1 kg. First postpartum job on day 4 is a defining moment. Her body is responding. This is just the beginning, right? So very good. It's very comprehensive. And if you were to enroll yourself to this kind of thing out there, I don't know how much they're going to charge you. Let me tell you upfront. This is free, okay? Results. Of course, we want to see the end day result, right? Okay, so this result represents different people who join. Okay, we do have people who join in with a pretty good baseline already. So for those who join in, they're health conscious, their baseline is good, then of course you're not going to witness like 10 kg loss, right? Then they're going to be so thin, right? Okay, but of course there are those who are like baseline, they have a bit more to work on, so you can see that they have more drastic weight loss. Okay, so this is what I try to meet, right? So you have Madeline, okay? Day 1, day 90, as you can see, she's already pretty fit. Okay, before this, she looks fine from outside. But of course, she looks even better now after 90 days. So this program is also suitable. Some people are very scared when they go into this 90-day. They feel like after they go into this 90-day, they will disappear or something. Okay, so with the right structured approach, that will be tailored for you. They will just give you what you need to lose at the appropriate place. So you can see that, it's a lot more snatch, right? The fat percentage has reduced, okay? Overall, she did lose 4 kg, which is quite significant as well, okay, considering her starting weight. Okay, it's not easy to lose when you're at this weight already, one. Okay, and do some recomposition, body recomposition to fine-tune a bit of your muscle mass, right? Reduce your visceral, and of course, reduce your metabolic age and all that. So it gives you an even better figure, okay? If you're already starting off, it gives you even better results for those who are health conscious. Okay, we already have that fine tuning to make it even better for you right now. Okay, and of course, this is very significant now. Okay, 5.2, this is body fat mass. Not even talking about total weight loss. Okay, so weight loss is 6.5. It's very good that she knows majority is fat mass. Okay, body fat reduced by 6%, skeletal muscle increased. Okay, her muscle actually increased by 5%, which is pretty good. Okay, and this is a very ideal type. And she actually reversed her age by 8 years. So you see, she looks so much younger right now. Right? So this is what the 90 days is able to do for you. Okay, if you do individual, maybe you won't be able to see so detailed also, and day by day, they will guide you through how to eat. Okay, this one also very significant. Okay, due to confidentiality, she wants to remain anonymous. Okay, in her face, but you can see the body lah. Last time it's like this. Now you can see it's so much slimmer, so much more defined. Okay, 6 kg at body fat. Okay, and this is also very good result. Reduce body fat by 6 kg, increase muscle mass. 4.4%. So this is a very healthy. This is what you call a healthy weight loss. All right. Many others, they will show you, oh, I lost, 10 kg or something, but they may be losing muscle mass, Then in fact, it's the fat mass that increase. Okay. So it's very important that you find the correct, be in the right place that will give you the right kind of body recompositioning. Okay. That is able to give you do not want to lose your muscle mass, right? So hard to gain it. So last but not least, we have this Ranjini, also fantastic result. Okay, reduced 8.3. I've seen her in person, by the way. She looks nothing like this, so she's like this. Correct. Very good. Okay, lost 11 in total. Body fat percentage, muscle mass increase. Okay, and visceral fat dropped by 3 units. So this is what we call a body recomposition. We don't call ourselves just weight loss. We want to recomposition your body to the correct proportion so that not just only you look good, but internally your organs are best. Okay, the right kind of positioning your body needs. So I highly encourage everybody, if you have not tried, to be on this. Okay, because it's rare that you have people that are kind enough to actually enroll you in, mentor you, journey with you every day, it's a lot of effort, but it's going to guarantee good results for you. Okay, so we highly recommend, if you have not, you do not know anybody, approach us and we will guide you to the right people. All right? Okay, actually we have a lot more than this, okay, but due to time, we have to cut short, all right? But there's a lot of testimonies always coming in, for those who are on this 90 day. All right, okay, I think my talk today is a bit long, okay, but for good reason. Okay, so before we go into Q&A, just to show you, okay, our subsequent Wellness 360 event, which is basically a health event, okay, that we just did. So because of the success of our, events in Singapore, in Malaysia, we are bringing this to other parts of this SMB region as well. All right, so for those who are in Singapore on 25th of July, we're going to have another health event. So it's great, okay, it's in alignment, right? If you're on this 90 day, then you can jump onto this Wellness 360. Then you can check your overall body composition. There are some other checks as well. Then you can, after 90 days, you can see your progress, where you are, right? And you can see your coaches in person. So it's actually very good. Yeah. Okay, and August, we are going to Brunei. Yay! Okay, finally, okay, after some time, we are heading to Brunei due to, great success, okay, in the neighboring regions. We are also going to go to Brunei. If you're in that area, please drop by, okay? Then you're going to have another one in Singapore. After that, it's going to be Malaysia, right? So it's going to be quite intense, all right? Health check that you're going to be doing in these 3 countries, in this coming few months until end of the year. All right? So that is the end of today's presentation. So I hope you are following me so far. And for you who are on the fence, please don't be on the fence. Okay, please do something about your muscle mass. It's very, very important. And the sooner it is to do something about it, it is easier to reverse and it's easier to get back. You do whatever recomposition that you need to do rather than waiting till the end. Okay? So we are done with talk now. So we are open to a time of Q&A. Right? Yep. Stop presenting. Okay. So I believe the chat is open. Okay. So you all can ask me questions that you need. All right. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Coach, for listening to our talk today. So how many StrongHold is recommended daily? Does it matter if we exercise or not? If we want to take StrongHold, yeah, I think it does matter. If you do exercise, it's recommended to take StrongHold after your workout. Yes. I think it does, and based on communicating with some of the health coaches as well, they say that yeah, especially on resistance training, they feel a big difference when they take StrongHold post workout, especially during recovery. They feel that it recovers much faster and they can get back to their form even better, and they can do even better reps also, and it helps in recovery. So for those who work out, really depends on the individual. So far, the US have not set any specific limit that you can only eat up to how many. People 2 is quite normal. Some people up to 3. Okay, but I don't really think there's a dangerous level of StrongHolds you can take in a day lah. Okay, really depending on how much you need as well. But due to the specific, I think 3 a day, 4 a day, really depending on your need. I mean, 3 is also considered for those who exercise lah. But I think in general, if you don't exercise that much, you can even take 2. Okay, so it's fine. I have not heard of any limit that they have not set any dangerous limit. You don't eat up to a certain sachet, something will happen to you, right? Maybe some stomach discomfort if you take too much. Okay, so that's why it's recommended to split. If you take if after post workout, you just take then a couple of hours, you take again, that kind of thing, and to see how your body respond to a higher influx, because these are very potent ingredients, right? So to see how your body is, responding. If you don't have any diarrhea or any GI related discomfort, then I suppose you can actually take that in. 2 to 3, up to you. Okay. Wow. Okay, it's okay if it's more than 5%, by the way. Okay, we try to take it. I will try to respond to as many as we can today. Okay, thanks. Okay, can StrongHold give me bicep? Yeah, of course. But of course, you need to, like I said, highly recommended you join a group. Make sure you have enough protein intake. If you can, go for workout. It's even going to be faster. So in short, yes, it can give you the bicep. Okay. When I consume StrongHold, I am constipated. Yes, it's possible. Okay, because due to the purity of the ingredients, is whey protein isolate sometimes, and the combination of the others. For some people, they may experience some form of GI discomfort. So if that's the point, then you just split. Maybe you can just take half in a day, or later at the dinner time or something like that. Okay, then suppose that would be better for you, because some people may have sensitivity to it. But I think the new StrongHold, if you're in Singapore, I think the peach StrongHold would be better. So you can try that as well. Probably you could have better reaction to that compared to the pineapple one. Yeah. How much included in the protocol? As in how many times I tend to take? Actually, very minimal only. They will just ensure that you need to take what you need. For StrongHold is I think now baseline would be feel great at StrongHold, these two are. And they won't force you to take anything that is not necessary. All right. So speak to your coaches, or whoever will bring you in. They will tailor make a specific range that you need. But we're not here. We're not like gonna sell you like a lot. Force you to take all these. No. We are reasonable. Okay. What's the difference between actually, to be honest, right, the old and new flavor don't really have much of a difference. Just a bit of fine tuning here and there, but nothing significant. Okay, so it's really just more to introduce a new flavor, and it's just the company's direction, to just go with this new one. All right. So eventually, everybody will be on a new flavor. Malaysia also. Okay, so Brunei, after this, pineapple eventually will also go to that as well. So the pineapple is actually very good. So, right, so they're just constantly doing changes, in alignment to just make this product better and better, right? Okay, if people have gastric problem, what is the recommended way to take feel great product and practice intermittent fasting? Okay, those have gastric problem, then I suppose in the morning you may have to take something. So after taking your Unimate, is recommended. I think 2 hard-boiled eggs is quite good. Actually, it's been pretty good. So far, I mean, I have gastric issues also. So I think 2 hard-boiled eggs was really good for me. Or yogurt, those Greek yogurt, those high protein, but they are not acidic, because the Unimate lemon can be a bit acidic. So you take a bit of that, it could suit your gastric lining. Then after that, you can take your your lunch and dinner. Okay. So yeah, I think the main issue is the morning. So make sure you you do the appropriate thing you need in the morning to have a high protein snack before you start off your lunch or dinner. But what if you don't work out? Do we need to take StrongHold? Yes, of course, you need to still take, okay, because we need signaling as we talk. It's insufficient if you just have protein and we don't have enough signal. So if you have good amount of protein and you have signaling, this is when you only have the optimized maximum muscle growth. So yes, I highly recommend that you take at least once a day. I think that's doable. Okay, besides flavor, any difference of ingredients and formulation, what are the main ingredients in StrongHold? The main ingredients is what I told you, whey protein isolate, calcium, HMB, leucine, and creatine. These are the main ones that we see. The new one is basically increasing some of these things, but like I said, it's not very significant. So I don't think that you need to be too troubled, okay, or you have to be afraid if you're on the current fish mango, because I know that there's still people on this as well. So just continue with it. It's just as good. Then after that, you can just transition to the new fish mango as it arrives in Brunei. All right. Okay, our moderator is very strict. Okay, she needs to make sure that we end on time. Okay, if not, we will continue to ask until maybe 10 p.m. when you go back. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. It's great to see all of you here today. I hope that the information I give you is sufficient and you learn something new and you're able to appreciate the importance of muscle to your overall metabolic health. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, we're going to have a talk 2 weeks from now. So then we will be sharing to you the poster in due course. So thank you, everybody, so much for your time. If you have any questions, please drop us an email. Right? So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. We see you again next 2 weeks. Bye.